Hi, my name is Clement Cheng. So I will be presenting and explaining a little bit for the Lab 1 Task 1, okay, using the ladder diagram I just created in CX Programmer. Yeah, okay. So according to the questions in Lab 1, so we just need to create a system that it is called unattended pet parking lot. Yeah, so basically it is just a system that when you see, okay, it is like this. Yeah, so when the car enters, the vehicle sensor will sense the car, hence produce the tickets, and then next, after the drivers tags the ticket, the gate will open, and so the car can just went over it or just go through it, and after 3 seconds the gate will close and then reset everything, and the system can run again. Yeah, so actually that's the whole system. Okay, so now I will explaining a little bit for the ladder diagram. Okay, so first of all, yeah, I'll be explaining the initial state first for the system. Okay, so I will click run using the work online simulator. Okay. Okay, so now before I start anything, okay, so we may check the initial state for the system first. Okay, so for the initial state, it's supposed to be showing that the limit sensor closing is on. Yeah, it's because that the gate is closed, which means that the limit sensor closing sense that the gate is closed and it is on for the initial states. Before I start anything. Okay, so this is the initial state. I can show the show the minimum cost as well. Is that everything is 0 except for the limit sensor closing. Okay. So now, now we'll start the whole system. So okay, when the vehicle sensor sense any car, which means that it will become on. Okay, so it will subsequently on, and also the ticket dispenser will be triggered as well, and the ticket dispenser will actually start the ticket motor to produce a ticket. So in this method, I'll be using the counter in CX Programmer. So when ticket dispenser is on, it will activate the counter, which means that the counter then will activate the ticket motor. Okay, so to reset the counter, which means that when the ticket motor already produced the ticket, and the ticket sensor indeed sense the ticket is already produced. Okay, so when it sense, it means that it is on. Okay, so when it sense the ticket, it will reset the counter, and hence when ticket sensor is on, the 0.02 is on as well. Actually, this is just to activate a relay. Okay, so that after that we can just provide a stable voltage pass for the ladder diagram below. Okay, as you can see here, so when it is on, as you can see just now, the ticket motor is off. Yeah, it is off, so it means that it will not be producing any tickets anymore. Okay, so now it will be waiting for the driver to tag the ticket. So if the driver tags the ticket, which means that the ticket sensor will sense no ticket, so it will become off. Okay, so at here, if actually the off, it means that the driver or the passenger already took the ticket. Okay, so I'll take it become off. Okay, so when off, as you can see, when it is off, it will run this timer. So this timer is just an assumption for the gate motor, or the gate motor opens. Okay, so it should be I'll just assign it to open for 2 seconds. Yeah, so after 2 seconds, as you can see, it will activate the limit sensor and also the relay 2 for relay 2 I will explain it later. Okay, so I will be repeating the part again. Okay, so I'll run again to have a more detailed explanation. Okay, so for the vehicle sensor, it is the same thing. So if I on, it will activate the ticket motor, it will produce ticket. So after ticket sensor sends it, it will on, and the ticket sensor will start relay 1. Yeah, this relay 1 is to provide a stable state below. Okay, so next it will be the ticket sensor. So if I off it right now, yeah, as you can see here, this timer is running. Yeah, after it runs, as you can see just now, after the ticket sensor is off, gate motor is start to run, and when timer is when the 2 seconds is times up, it means that it will activate the limit sensor for opening, which means that the gate is already fully open and it touched the limit sensor. So at here, after it touched the limit sensor, it will close the gate motor open. Okay, so there's one thing you can see here is what I said just now. When gate motor is open, it will start relay 2. Yeah, or the gate motor open and relay 2 is when the ticket sensor is off, it will start to run the gate motor open, and next after 2 seconds it will start to run limit sensor opening. Okay, so at here at the initial step below, you can see that gate motor opening and relay 2 is used to cut off the hold state for limit sensor closing, because when the gate is opening, we know that when it is open, the limit sensor for closing will not be detecting the gate again. Yeah, okay, so it is supposed to be off. Okay, so next you can see here, so I'll be explaining, I'll continue to explain further. Okay, so after everything is done for the ticket sensor, when it is off, which means the driver already took it, and I would show the rungs 8. Okay, so it will be it is now depend on the vehicle sensor. Yeah, so if the vehicle sensor did not sense any car, which means that the car is already go through the gate. Okay, so if I put it to off, it means that the car is already went through, so it will start to run for 3 seconds. Okay, so it starts to run to 3 seconds, and it will it will trigger the gate motor for closing. So after 3 seconds, which means just like what the question said just now, like the closing of the gate only occurs if the vehicle has passed the gate and 3 seconds has elapsed. Yeah, so these 3 seconds is used to let the car to went through the gate. Yeah, but this has to be happen when the vehicle sensor already did not sense the car. Okay, so basically the full procedure will be when the vehicle sensor is off, which means it did not sense the car, the timer will start to run for 3 seconds, and hence it will trigger the gate motor to close. Okay, so after the gate motor is closed, this timer for 2 seconds is just an assumption, like for how long the gate motor will close. Okay, so you see here, like the timer for here will trigger the gate motor closing. Gate motor closing here will trigger the timer as well. Yeah, this timer is just an assumption. So after 2 seconds, it is supposed to be on, and the limit sensor closing will cut off. It will cut off the power supply for gate motor, which means that the gate is fully closed. Okay, so right now as you can see here, it is actually one system is already done. Okay, one cycle is already done, sorry. Okay, so if I went up, as you can see, the vehicle sensor and the ticket sensor is both off. Yeah, so it's actually a reset. Okay, so I can just repeat through. So if I click vehicle sensor on, yeah, you can see here it will reset everything down here. Yeah, it will reset everything down here. Okay, and also for the ticket sensor, it will also reset everything down here also. Okay, so when vehicle sensor is on, the ticket dispenser is on, and the ticket dispenser will sense any if the vehicle sensor is on, which means it senses any car, it will trigger the ticket dispenser to produce the ticket. Okay, so hence if I set ticket sensor to on, you can see that it will reset everything below. Yeah, so everything will change to an initial state. Yeah, so hence I can repeat the whole procedure. Okay, so now it will be the same thing. The ticket sensor will wait for the driver to take the tickets. Yeah, after it's off, it will start the timer to open the gate motor, and after it's fully open, the sensor senses it will cut off the gate motor power to stop it. Hence it will trigger relay 2 as well to provide a steady state or just a voltage supply to the diagram below. Okay, so next will be the vehicle sensor. Since it is now fully opening, it will wait for the car to went through or go through the gate. So after this go through, the vehicle sense no car, so it will become off. Okay, it will start the timer for 3 seconds, and hence trigger gate motor, and hence trigger the limit sensor for closing, and it will cut off the gate motor. Yeah, okay, so as you can see, I can just repeat everything here. Set on, and then ticket sensor on. Okay, so this one will be the same thing. Off. Okay, so trigger, limit sensor will cut off, and then vehicle sensor is on. Is it off? Oops, back. So it is supposed to be set off, and then triggers everything down here. Okay, so trigger, so it will start the limit sensor, it will cut off gate motor, and hence I can just repeat the whole system. Yeah, so for the emergency button is actually just to cut off everything. Yeah, so even if I run it on and emergency message is just used to sorry like just used to stop the whole system. I can just on it, I can just stop anything. Yeah, so that's all for the task 1 explanation. So thank you.